of the agenda. Do I have a motion to that?
Motion to approve the agenda as it stands.
I would second.
A motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All against? Okay, the ayes have it. We will move on to item 4. Approval of the minutes from back in, I think, May.
Or actually April.
So I had a chance to review them and they looked good to me. Does anybody have anything to add or?
I have no notes.
Okay, if not, I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes.
I would move to approve.
We have a movement to approve the minutes. Do I have a second?
Excellent.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All against? The ayes have it. The minutes are approved. Next up, Article 5, public comment. Do we have any comments from the public here? Got a wave off back there. Up there. Anybody remotely?
Nobody is online.
Pardon?
No, nobody is online.
Nobody's on, okay. Okay, seeing none, we'll just move on to the next, Article 6, under new business.
Public comment.
Chairman Curson,
Yes,
I was asked to share this. Market answer rate for 2027.
Mark, can I hold you just for a second? Just,
Okay, sure.
just to let it be known that Ryan Gill is here now. Okay, go ahead, I'm sorry.
So I wasn't going to do this, but on May 16th, I got a message from a resident of Warren Township. Mark, please let your guys know how grateful I am. I went into anaphylactic shock after getting stung by something today, possibly a wasp. Never had a reaction in my life until today. They saved my life, and words cannot express my gratitude. They will deserve to be recognized for their actions and how much I appreciate them. And that C-shift.
That was, yeah, it was, she sure they came about
Yeah, so it's a disabled former solid living police officer. That sent me, they wanted them to be recognized, so C-shift fighter did a bang up job. 2 weeks back, and literally seemed like a life when, he was pretty bad shape on me.
I was on vacation.
Oh, you're on vacation.
My guys did me proud because I was not there, but they,
He was in a way bad shape.
he, from what I heard, he was really struggling to breathe when they got there. They hit him with some epi, things turned around quickly, but it was close.
I appreciate you sharing that, Mark, in the detail. I actually received the same message and I shared it with the board.
Okay.
But I'm glad that you brought it up here. So totally noteworthy.
That's all I have.
Thank you very much.
No, that's great. Any complaints? Any complaints from residents?
Did we transport them?
Yeah.
Oh, good, so we get to bill them too.
Yeah.
Buddy.
Fire joke.
Such a former city councilman.
Okay, that's good to hear. That's good to hear, and as long as the crews know they did a great job.
But the group, didn't share.
That's what we're here for.
Cover the miracle and his life's for him.
Absolutely. Is there anything else under new business?
Actually, I would ask to amend the agenda, and I should have thought of this earlier, but under fire chief's report is proposed capital plan. And I think that should be more appropriately be new business, and I will be presenting that. So I would like to ask the board if I can do that now under new business.
Do you need a second on that or?
I guess I'm making a motion, but I would like to present that.
So, you're okay you're looking to.
Yeah, you see, item fire chief's report 9, my Roman numerals are good, 9E. I'd like to actually do that under new business.
Okay, I would imagine, should we just entertain the motion for that to, move proposed capital plan from under the fire chief's report, since he's not here, to under new business? Do you have anybody that would like to make that motion?
I can make that motion.
You have a motion? Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All against? Seeing none, the ayes have it to bring that under new business, and so it'll be proposed capital plan.
Yes.
business.
So I'd like to do that now. Thank you. And I'm going to present to the board. You did receive this with your packets, but if you want to arrange yourself that so you can see the screen better, I would do that now. It's not. Yeah. Sorry. Here. Sharing a window. I'm not sharing the screen. Which I, this is one.
Well, it's like.
Talk amongst yourselves.
So you've got the wrong,
HDMI.
screen duplication on there.
Extend to LG, choose content, entire screen, start mirroring.
There we go.
All right, that works. Okay. So what we have here is something that was put together. I will be perfectly honest with you. The bulk of this work was done by Sammy here. And she is here for questions that may come up along with myself. And then Assistant Chief Andy Willett is also here to answer questions in the absence of Chief Downey. We'd like to have this conversation today for monetary reasons. And I'll go into that. Rate, in terms of rate of what's going on right now in the economy. So what this group was tasked to do is get an understanding of what our capital needs are going to be over the next 5 to 10 years. What does it look like? And I'll go into details here, but this is the background. When a fire engine costs over $1 million, we can't have 3 of them go out of service in 1 year and expect to pay for that out of our equipment replacement fund, which is only about $250,000. And without any changes, essentially that's, aside from 4% increases every year, essentially that's what it's always going to be. And we're already paying for something out of that right now, lease payments on one of our trucks. So, you know, there's a lot of conversation about capital. What are those capital needs? So it's on one hand, it's easy to say when asked the question, no, we have no capital needs right now. But in a year or 3 years or 5 years, yes, we will. So that is so what do we do with that? What do we do and how we need to understand how those are all going to hit timeline wise. And so that was the impetus behind putting this together. And then the real question is, so what do we do about it? And what are our options? And you know, do we need to plan and make decisions now to plan for this? So what they did here is really, really great. And I can't say enough good things about it. I'm going to go over some awesome meat and potato stuff. And I can take zero credit on what went in here, except reviewing their drafts and asking for additional information, things that I thought the board might want to see. So I'm just going to start walking through this here. This obviously is not what fire engines look like anymore.
Sammy, we need to update that on
This slide?
the fire engine.
Yeah, no, if we still had this. Actually, there are some fire stations that around the state that turned into museums down in Carmel. If you guys have been down there, it's pretty neat. Is there a resident up there with the cream? Someone with sunglasses on? There's definitely somebody. Take a peek out there. What were you gonna say, Sandy?
That fire museum.
Oh, very cool.
Revolutionized, the fire service as a whole.
okay. Oh, that's really cool. Well, great find. We can see some pictures of Old South Bend that look like this. So again, we are talking about emergency response apparatus, trucks, equipment, vehicles. We're also talking about the safety equipment that the firefighters wear. So when you see SCBA, that is the oxygen tank apparatus. It's all one sort of system that the firefighters wear. Turnout gear refers to their clothing, the coat and that kind of stuff. Then radios is obviously radio. So taking a look at what the aging, and again, here's the philosophy behind it. Obviously, we want to maintain our current level of emergency response, protect firefighters, and be prepared for unplanned equipment failures. Those are all very important things. But again, like I said, when I started replacing these assets and planning for what that's going to look like and what do we need to do now to prepare for that. So these are some of the questions that the chief and his team identified when it comes to what when they're talking about rescheduling the replacement of a piece of equipment. What are the questions that they're asking themselves? The manufacturer is going to give a lifetime for it. And you will see, I can tell you for a fact, there's a lot of fire departments here in St. Joe County, these guys probably know better than me even, that are using outdated equipment. When I say outdated equipment, meaning they're using it well past the manufacturer's expected life. And, oh, never mind, they don't. So And I mean, some of that stuff might be their oxygen apparatus, you know, these things that they're using that are 5 years out of date, you know, and it's not just because the technology has improved, it's the manufacturer won't warranty it, won't guarantee its use after that period of time. But they look at that, what do the warranties look like? What are our maintenance costs getting out of control? What does our reliability look like? So it's not just one thing. These are the questions that they ask themselves when they're talking about this. Very, very busy, slide here, I understand, but as you guys, as I kind of just outlined, very expensive items here. Some of them have longer life, some of them have shorter life, but you know, these are very expensive pieces of equipment and things that we have to plan for. You know, there's various things that you can do to, as part of our long-term planning. We talk about grants all the time. There's financing options, strategic reserve funding, which we really don't have as an option right now for us. One day in the future, sure, that could definitely be part of the conversation. But getting to the real meat and potatoes here. So these are some industry standards for these pieces of equipment. A command vehicle, 7 to 10 years. As you see, SCBA down there, 10 to 15 years, depending on what the manufacturer says they will support. So each one of these items has a general life expectancy, depending on who the manufacturer is and what it is. Chiefs, please feel free to jump in here if you feel like I'm talking out of my butt. This is our actual equipment. I love this slide. The next few slides are really where it's at. These are all of our pieces of equipment and when they're expected to need to be replaced. It's again, a sort of busy slide, but it makes sense when you look at it. It's a nice, what do they call that? Waterfall graph. So I really like that you can see here where things stand right now, that even as early as 27, 29, 31, but really we get to 43, we get to 39, 37. There are more than one pieces of equipment that are going to be needing replaced. Okay. And I can go back to any of these slides for your questions. Again, this is that same slide, just in a little bit of a different format here. When it was purchased, when it's expected to be replaced, and then what the service life of that is expected to be, those pieces of equipment. I think that they were using engine 19 as an example here. Chief, did you want to go over this real quick on what the sort of thinking was here when you wanted to use engine 19 as an example, or Sammy? What were you thinking here?
To lean into the overall impact of inflation in today's market. So engine 19 cost approximately $372,000 in 2018. Today, it costs $0.25 million. And today's numbers don't necessarily reflect how soon we would even receive that apparatus in real time. And could be a 2-year delay, or 3 before we actually receive it after ordering. So part of what we're trying to stress here as we know rates are going to go up exponentially next year due to supply chain shock, and we're trying to get ahead of that.
The supply chain issue is so bad that there is actually a class action lawsuit being formed against several manufacturers that I had a law firm reach out to us and ask if we purchased any equipment from 2 of these. And it's because there are limited manufacturers of this equipment, and the accusation is that they are intentionally restricting supply. Yeah. So thank you for that, Sam. That makes the point for sure. So again, here are some specific costs that are associated today with these replacements right now in real numbers. As you can, replacing all the SCBA equipment, $175,000, you know, turnout gear, even turnout gear itself, $100,000. And then you go up to the big things, Tinker 41 and Engine 19 being some of our older pieces of equipment, looking in the millions of dollars range. So here's where things stand right now on that. If you look at that plot chart on what will need to be replaced, is we are going to have to come up with a plan. If we were going to replace these items, according to what the recommendations would be, we'd need about $2.1 million in 2026 and 1.2 in 2027 that we just simply don't have on hand. Okay, so those are our immediate future needs. And then here is the funding strategy that is being proposed for consideration here. Is in the absence of reserves of $1, $2, $3 million, which we don't have, or the ability to bond, which we do not have as a fire territory. There is a company out there, and Sam has a lot of details on this, that will allow us to finance and plan for all this equipment and lock in a rate for all of it now. So we wouldn't necessarily be purchasing all of these things right now, but it would allow us to order and start planning for some of those in a locked in rate. Okay, and these are what those locked in interest rates would look like along with these proposed terms. So it's not like buying one house and this is your 30-year rate and your loan payment program. They build the whole thing into the timeline. So what we pay each year would be different according to what has fallen off. And I'll show what I mean here in a second. So if we were to move forward with this funding strategy and we were to say, yes, we're going to start planning to purchase all of these things. Now, approving this plan does not approve the purchase of anything. Every single item that would ever be purchased still has to be approved by this board, okay? But, moving forward with this is the plot line that's really important, I think. So this is what shows, for instance, you don't need the turnout here until 2027. So in this financing plan, we would start paying $23,000 per year until 2032, and then that's done. That's paid off, okay? Same for the radios, SCBA's, we'd be paying $46,000 a year until 2032, and then it drops off. And that becomes really important because it creates an annual payment each of these years, which will be in flux and it will change. Explaining this correctly. This is the really thing, this is the slide that combines it all. So if we move forward with this, again, we would have no payments in 2026. We would not start making payments until 2027. But those payments would be $385,000. And then they would go up to $585 and then drop off as equipment falls off. We've already paid off that now. We paid off that, but you'd like to go back to that plot and you can see that's been paid off. And as items are paid off, our annual expense would go down. And at the end of 2038, all of those items listed on that sheet would now be paid off. And we would be making no more payments to anything. We may need a strategy for now the next round of what the capital improvement plan looks like, and we would have to adopt one in 2036 or 2037. But for this grouping of equipment that will be needed between now and 2038, this is what that payment structure would look like. How would we pay for it? Right now, we're estimating that our EMS fund is bringing in $360,000 a year. None of this is all assuming nothing changes. That there's no expansion of the territory, there's no increased service, nothing changes at all. This is about what we expect to bring in the EMS fund on an annual basis. That's when the ambulance goes out and we build insurance for that. Our cumulative levy is the equipment replacement fund. So that's about what we would expect to get, which will actually go up slightly, but we try to be conservative. Just estimate on the low end. Right now, this is what we're bringing in on our equipment replacement fund. We know that it'll probably grow, but leave it at that for now. So combined, this is how much money we expect to bring in every year between the EMS fund and the cumulative levy fund. So the proposal would be, if we were to move forward with this financing agreement for the purchase and order of this equipment, these are the payments that we'd be making over the next 10 years. And combined, that's the money we would be planning to use for it. What this last slide shows you is the difference. So for here, we owe $385,000. Well, we would have $578 available. Great. There's $192,000 left for whatever there might be there. Again, there's another lease in there that we have to pay off. The next 4 years, we actually go negative. So we would have to add money to it, but it's a small amount, kind of peanuts at that point. $7,000, $7,000. And then again, we go positive again. And this is what would be left over. This would be left over. So it's cash positive for these years and cash negative for these years, but only by a little bit.
Are these adjusted for inflation?
No. All conservative. I mean, the rate would be locked in. If we move forward, all those rates you saw would be locked in. They cannot change over the term of this. So those payments would not change. Whatever these payments are would remain the same. They can't change them.
So when you say rate, you mean the actual
Interest rate.
rate, not the cost per item?
Well, the cost is also locked in. Yes, we would be purchasing through this company. All of these purchases would be made through this company and all the financing would be made through this company.
So to highlight that a bit, so when we discussed this topic during the Lives board meeting last year, And Chief Downey put on our radar that the SCBA's and radios would need to be replaced. We started procuring quotes. That quote has gone up by $25,000 since July of last year. Just for the SCBA. That's a piece of equipment that is a life-saving measure. If something were to go wrong on a call, we would not only potentially lose, could be a loss of life, but we would be exposed to, potential lawsuits.
Then also the ambulance factors in, we do not have the operating funds to operate a second ambulance. However, when that thing has to go in for an oil change or a software update or any little thing that your car might have to do, except this is like a little space shuttle, it's out of service. We are not providing ambulance service right here now. So the idea on the second ambulance is as a backup. Or if there was some big natural disaster, huge crisis response, we would have the staff that could come in and obviously respond to that. But generally speaking, the ambulance would be a backup ambulance. Is there another slide, Sammy?
So say that again, Jason, so you're saying it's in a case of emergency backup, specifically for the equipment, not to operate it.
We would not operate a second ambulance. That's exactly what we should, yeah, I mean, something would have to change. Yep. It's just if ours is down,
So that you don't have a delay in service.
correct.
I think Chief Pendergrass could lead into this a little bit.
Because remember, South Bend is removing the contract, or St. Joe County is removing the contract from the city. So if we're not responding, we literally are up to just somebody around here on the good nature of their heart
And
responding.
the timing of that is,
Well, now we're told 2027.
There is some potential to generate a little bit more revenue when, if we would have to push that truck into service to cover. Right now, if you look at the report, we missed a couple of runs where we would have had that second truck, we would have picked those up.
how does that compare to the cost of operating them?
Well, the truck wouldn't be operating unless we need to push it into service.
It was down, so we did
The
it.
truck, so the other truck's out covering another call.
Yeah.
Our personnel here, myself, down, whoever, can jump in that truck and push it into service so that we're not losing. And it also helps a little bit too, that you would have that second truck and you could rotate which one's the first out. So that we're not putting all the wear and tear on
Yeah,
one.
we've already put about 25,000 miles on that truck, that's less than a year old.
And it would keep the feet up pretty bad.
Yeah, it does.
So I'm happy to answer questions. Yeah, that's sort of the idea here is what do we want to do? We have a rate locked in with this company now. Or those rates are all locked in right now. They will change in July. Again, we can't purchase anything, though. Each purchase of equipment still requires action from the board. This would be just agreeing, this would be authorizing the provider unit to sign on the dotted line, lock in these rates and start moving forward with this plan. Unless folks have other ideas, another route you want to go, that's kind of what today is about.
But the rates, just to qualify, clarify, locked in, we are committed to essentially, what's in it for the provider, right? We're committing to purchasing.
Yeah, what are the callback provisions? If we signed on the dotted line and said, you know what, never mind, we're not moving forward with these purchases.
My understanding is we would not be locked in that manner,
Okay.
but I can get some more clarification.
So they
I imagine they force us.
essentially, well, I mean, if they had a contract, right, they could, and we had agreed to make those purchases and then decide we couldn't afford it for one reason or another, there could be penalty payments. But it sounds like what they gain from it is just essentially we can't go anywhere else for the business.
Well, they get the interest rate.
Right.
I mean, we're paying them interest. They're loaning us money.
The interest rate is locked, right? It's not gonna go up.
Those are the rates right now that we would lock in. It will go up, every month now.
Right. And it was 4.94.
Well, that's one of them, 4.94, and then a couple of them are a little higher. The shorter term ones are, I think, obviously.
Right.
Because that's only, so you can consider them each separate loans. Is essentially what it is.
And, not as familiar with this industry. So are there other competitive bids out there that would be prudent to, understanding the timing is tricky, and the time takes to go through that process? But I'm curious about that as well.
That is a great question. We have a good relationship with leasing too. Part of these figures here built in is the cost that we are still paying on for engine 41, which we purchased in 2025. That's why it does drop off after.
Because they're a current lender,
We are, that's what we purchased, we're leasing that through.
Yeah.
so it's extending or changing the terms of the existing loan.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. But that's a
Good
great
point.
question.
Good point.
We do not have other bids. We just have an ongoing relationship with them because of that.
Fair enough.
So I also built that into the total overall is those payments that we are paying on engine 41 still.
Okay.
And Alex Bowman vetted them as a vendor then, when we signed for that, that was purchased by Portage Township.
Okay.
Wait, no. No,
If-
it was, but Fire Territory owns it.
Is there a benefit to you checking for other vendors? I mean, generally, we would want more than one bid, but I also see timing would be an issue here.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, we would just have to vet and look for who else does this kind of work out there and, yeah, I don't know.
What are other territories and stations doing? Are we just early on in this process and trying to take initiative? Do we have a sense for how others are considering navigating
I can
these?
tell you what my experience with other fire small departments has been, that they don't do anything until it hits them in the face. But is
Going
it,
back to
I mean,
that first.
do you have examples of outdated equipment in the field? That you don't want to throw anybody under the bus, I imagine.
Yeah,
Well, Tinker 41 is already at the end of its life. It's outside of 25 years. And just the cost to maintain and repair is mounting for every year that we continue to use that as a frontline apparatus.
When we upgrade to something else, are we likely to be able to sell off field units
Yeah,
for much?
Yeah, that's part of it.
well, it depends. That probably not.
once you hit that
Mm-hmm.
end of
That's what I was
life,
wondering.
it drops pretty substantially.
But yeah, you're small. I mean, they probably sell. I mean, we've sold everything that we've had. When we divorced from Center, they were able to sell all the equipment that we all jointly owned.
Which is potential revenue not included.
True. True, yes, we kept it very conservative on the waterfall grid.
Who's this company?
Leasing two.
I mean, it seems like a good plan and it's cognizant of the issues that'll be coming up. I think we just need to make sure that just double checking if there's no issues on if like a future trustee is elected and backs out on things, right?
So let's take a note to find out what the clawback procedure is and penalties. I imagine there's. But that's the question. We've locked in a rate. They can't force us to buy it when the moment comes.
Right. But they can have penalties for not buying.
Maybe, yeah, they probably can.
Yeah.
But I imagine the benefit here is we've locked in a rate with them. The rates are gonna go up and fluctuate.
So I mean, if they're estimating the cost, for example, of the new ambulance, it's 500,000. And we would be potentially purchasing that at, right? Just as an example.
So for the ambulance, we would wanna order immediately. When it gets here, I don't know.
Okay, I'm more thinking of.
2 years from now, 1 year from now, 6 months if they've got one laying around.
It would not, yeah, it would be until 2028.
Right, but I'm more interested in like, if one of these is further down the road, let's say the T41 replacement. It sounds like that might not be. But if we're looking to buy that in like 3 or 4 years, are they locked into that, roughly that price as well?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I do see what you're saying too.
Because those things could, yeah, no, but
Once you go through, you're locked into that, generally, you're locked into that.
So the idea here is we do.
Manufacturer, Brian?
Huh?
Are you saying the manufacturers?
Right,
Yeah,
like,
once you sign on that dotted line with the manufacturer, you're locked into that rate for them at least.
But I think you're saying if we don't purchase.
Wait, we're not like signing the order for all of these tomorrow.
I understand.
That's kind of what I'm thinking, like, if we're waiting, like, okay, next year we need to do this, oh crap, that's going up by $500,000.
Yeah.
That's kind of my
I think that's
question.
right. I think the timing of everything is that it takes a while to get some of that.
Right.
So we don't pay when we order. So, yes. So even if so right now, I could order all of this stuff right now, and then when it comes, I have to come to you, I don't, no, I have to come to you and say, okay, it's arrived, can we purchase this? In fact, sometimes that's how they get equipment, is somebody backs out. They order something, it shows up, they don't want it anymore, and now they've got one laying around, they're able to offload it. So it's the actual handing over the dough that the territory has to still approve.
Okay,
It has to be appropriated, the purchase has to be approved.
and that's the other thing to check on, if there's a like backup penalty for it.
I think that sounds right, yeah.
Is again, it could be seen as a breach of contract if we commit to it, they prepare it, and then 3 years down the line, like, we don't have the money. So yeah, that's kind of where my question.
I will commit to following up with the board this week, if we get that answer, with that answer. As a concept, is this what we want to do?
I mean, it makes sense to me if we're locking in and controlling prices, locking in that interest rate, because that's gonna go up. If we're in, I mean, from everything we're seeing. So yeah, like the question is changing in the prices due to.
What price? Yeah.
Yeah, the risk side.
Exposure.
It's hard for me to believe, Jason, that there's not somebody else out there beside leasing two that does this business.
Okay.
The equipment business all my life, purchasing and leasing. There was competitive bids out there before when I used to buy trucks and so. But, you know,
I mean, it makes sense to give it a bit.
it's a red flag to me when you got one hold here. And then on the payment plan, did someone help you guys structure that based on what's coming in?
We ran the numbers. Sam,
Did you have somebody else look at them?
no. I mean, just me. Sammy put them together and then I looked them over.
I mean, a financial consultant, did you have somebody?
No. No.
Based on what the levies are bringing in and all that?
No, because these are what we know. That the EMS fund is what we're estimating, but the community levy is what we're getting.
What's EMS taking in so far since you had the ambulance already?
Roughly 30 grand a month.
And that's the early stage, right?
Correct. So all the numbers reflected here are conservative numbers, and they're based upon the leasing to proposal, and their lease terms for each separate item. And then we align that with what we could expect as a reasonable time frame for the actual delivery date for each item.
Well, let's see what else is out there. If we can get that answered.
Yeah.
Quickly, that would be good.
And there may be some detail there that I just, maybe just, Downey hasn't, and he's not here to weigh in on this discussion.
I mean, it would make sense to have, like an actual financial planner would go for it, or whatever that would be, six for this kind of thing. Because I always think with government budgets, you have to worry about like, is there gonna be further cuts in the levy that we're allowed to do? Those kind of things.
I mean, I can send it to Dalton, but he's not going to be able to answer that. You know.
Well, but often they'll be able to do like, in this case, this scenario, give a range of potential impacts if there is problems. So I mean, that's just.
Yeah, I can send it to him.
I think.
Yeah, I can send it to him for sure.
Does he do the finances on this?
He's our municipal advisor on finance.
Oh, okay. All right, so he would have experience. Yeah, I mean, I would just make sure someone else so that has the background.
Makes sense.
I would be satisfied with even one more bid. And hopefully, you won't be as arduous the second time around.
We are fair too. Yeah. No, I agree.
This is my take on it. In my other life, when I was a city councilman and also in South Bend Fire, lease purchase options became the way to go to fire apparatus. It was the only way the city could afford with an aging, out of shape fleet where transmissions would literally fall out in a fire, which happened and stuff, so it worked well. With what's going on and with that Rev Group and all this, antitrust stuff with these fire apparatus company, that's gonna take, like a federal type thing, antitrust suit, and I don't know, but it has driven the cost up tremendously. That I kind of thought it was gonna come to something like this for fire equipment, because, not only fire trucks, apparatus, radios, it's just gotten out of control. The grant stream seems to be drying up a little bit. Some questions I had, but I was gonna print that whole thing out, but when I went and reviewed it, I don't have the whole thing. I let,
Oh, sorry. We
yeah,
can.
I
We
think
can
it would have been
print
good. We didn't.
I
did you
printed
have-
off a busy slide for everyone.
I said it might be this tomorrow.
I left, I looked at it,
Tomorrow.
I can
I
print right now.
Yeah.
You can go print right now.
I looked at
Sorry,
it
Sam.
at work with my crew.
Told you.
But I thought it'd be good, Chief Downey explained that, and I thought the last slide 18 was really cool, I wondered where that came from. But this is some of the questions I have about it. The other companies, do we need kind of like a competitive bid, since we're tying up so much cash over the long term, a little more history on these companies. But one thing is the company we're looking at, is that all they do is fire apparatus? Or do they look to help concrete companies replace their fleet of trucks and stuff, you know what I mean? Is this
I don't know what else they do, but they specialize in government work because they structure their loans. And like, they're very well aware of Indiana property tax law because they structure their loans that paybacks begin in July. Because they know you've got your June levy.
okay,
But I can look into that too.
okay,
This one was vetted by Alex. But with the other ones, we can do.
Alex,
Bowman, the attorney.
oh, okay, that was my next thing. Have we done a legal review on this? To make sure the township commitment, if we say, hey, we're not spending 500,000 this year, we're just gonna only spend, 150. Are they gonna try to ding us? Or, well, no, we're gonna bill you.
Yeah, I think that's what these guys are saying is
Yeah.
find out what the clawback provisions are.
Okay,
Yeah.
I do though, the way rates never go down. Of course, with today's crazy economy, you don't know what's gonna happen, but, we may have to entertain some special meetings here. Is a week out or 10 days out from this too soon, or to try to lock into a June rate, should we decide to do that?
Right.
Instead of waiting until July, and then, we're kicking ourselves in the rear for not, getting that up to 4 point.
I think it'd be great if everybody was willing to do that. I'm out of town for much of the second half of the month, but I don't need to be here and I can, dial in or whatever, but
Are we able to, we're not able to do virtual meetings on that, right?
Quorum in person.
you need one in person. So I mean, I'm down for that schedule. Before we leave, we could schedule a meeting 2 weeks out.
I think that would be appropriate. Give us a little more time, come up with any more information.
Well, we would have more info then by then. Thank you.
And, honestly, with me, I try to keep abreast of everything, what's going on in the state with the fire service, and they're struggling all over. I think that's why some of these departments are starting to merge, because sometimes I think they're gonna try to shift the old equipment to an area that doesn't maybe make a lot of runs. Try to use the frontline equipment where it's more busy. Everybody's hurting in this thing. And companies like this don't surprise me. It's what it's come to.
Portage has a meeting 2 weeks from today,
I mean, we could go on a different day.
but we could do Monday if you guys are available. The 15th. Oh, good.
Well, we're at 5, you do it at 5.
You want it later? Earlier? I mean, I can make a lot of things work. You're out of town?
Back on, I can do Thursday of that week, but Monday through Wednesday.
I can make Thursday work. I leave the next day. Does Thursday work at 5 o'clock? 18th?
You guys all leave that day, Bob, or umpire?
Well, that's in the point of that. I guess.
So,
Something like.
Send out a notice anyway.
Yeah, I'm doing it right now. I mean, I haven't noticed the media, but, just while we're talking about it, I'll send you guys So South Bend email does work.
No, I'm having trouble with it, just send it to my county email. County government always works. Right?
At what point does this need to, and maybe it's just a moment is gone, but in light of these decisions being made at the county level, for them to essentially wash their hands of this responsibility, at what point do we take this information and talk about the cost to fire territories and stations?
To the county commissioners, I mean, you're just not gonna have a good time. You're gonna be looking at blank faces and glazed over eyes. I mean,
Oh,
I'll go in frustrated.
we participated in these for the, even the county ambulance stuff and like, rudderless, they just figured out it's kind of their position. And I will say Commissioner Hazen has been very complimentary of us, this fire territory, and he voiced his sort of frustration with, the good folks at Liberty and Green and said, he does, the solution staring from the face, Jason, why don't they just join with you guys? So he's an advocate. I don't know. Okay, that is headed towards your guys' inboxes.
And what date was that, Jason?
That's the 18th. Just do it here.
Here,
Yeah,
That'll probably be a minimal agenda, mostly just that.
yeah, sure.
We need to.
Well, we'll get you what we can before then though. And then questions come up, send them my way, and then we can, if we're ready to make a decision at that meeting, then great. If we've got other ideas, then we'll chat about those. Okay, Mr. Person, so unless anybody's got any questions, that's all. I had any business.
So, that came under new business. Okay, so we'll move back to Article 7, old business. Do we have any old business to be brought up? Seeing and hearing none, we'll probably, move on to Article 8, provider unit report.
Yes, budget is my, update for you here. The first page, EMS expenses, we have no budget for that, so, I'm sorry, the EMS, that's the EMS account. And we have no budget for it, so that's why you don't see anything there. The miscellaneous, the next page is the equipment replacement fund. We've made one payment on our lease, and that's the only thing that has been reflected in that thus far this year. And then as far as the admin budget goes, thankful for, the work done by the firefighters on overtime. It's made an obvious difference in here for the new policies that are being adopted and followed by the fire territory staff. We're grateful for, because it is reflected in here that has made a difference. So we are right on the line when it comes to where we need to be at this point in the budget. So as long as we keep this up, don't have anything kind of major happen or hiccups, we should come in at or slightly under budget. But I'm happy to answer questions if we have them, but anything related to the budget. Outside of that, I don't have any. I don't really have any updates that I can give you. So no, that's it for me.
Okay. Any questions? Seeing and hearing none, we'll move on to Article 9, the fire chief. First up is activity reports.
You should have in your packet, you can see, first one. Training, last month we completed almost 790 hours of training total at log. The guys out doing things during the day. The only other big thing I'm gonna point out is we sent a guy to FDNY to do a class in task force leader and task force safety for the TRT, the county TRT, which is the county rescue team. We sent a guy out there, completed a couple day course out there. We've had several individuals complete the driver operator general, and then a couple more individuals complete the driver operator pump series through the state of Indiana. And we also sent a individual to Ohio to do some advanced auto electrification. Received better life training in auto electrifications. There, move ahead to the inspections. We did 7 inspections in April, 2 in May. Some violations noted in April, and they were corrected. Ground report. As you can, we can see that most of the numbers were right on that task with Vinny. We're hovering right about where we were last year. The big one I kind of want to point out is Medic 19, as you can see outside ambulance transport 7. The vast majority of those we probably could have picked up if we would have had that second ambulance. We could have put another crew in service just to cover that call. The truck wouldn't be in service all the time, but we would be able to staff that truck up and cover those 7 calls and get generated or receive the revenue from them. Not a lot, but it is something. And then I think we average about 5 to 7 of those every month.
Is there any estimate, this might be getting a little too, but, the impact of Medic 19 on the community, like if we didn't have that here? Right, what would people be looking at for response time for things like cardiac arrest or those kind of things?
We could look at that. I don't have this specific number.
Might be something to think about if we can, like just a reminder of how important, I mean, those are lives probably saved, right? So if you could quantify that in some way and put it out there.
So that's all I have currently in front of me, unless you guys have any questions.
I don't think it.
Nothing for facilities or grants or.
I know that there was a list of, I don't have the specifics that we applied for, but I know that we is working on several grants at this time. Maybe stands in the process.
Okay.
What about Station 41? What do you plan on doing something there in the meantime?
But it needs to
I
be
know you
rebuilt.
thundered about it, and I know,
Yeah,
I mean, we're looking at equipment, but what about that station?
it's got a brand new roof, it's got a new generator, new bathroom, new parking lot. That has all been done, and then the kitchen has just been remodeled. That's something we've been talking about a lot. But outside of that, it's in okay shape, as far as I know.
There's still issues with ventilation and such, like it could lead to health issues.
Yes, it's really the layout of the station that's not ideal. Yes, I don't know if we don't, there's no clean room, you know, so when these guys get back from the fire, they have to take the turnout gear off before walk, you know, in an area there's, unlike these stations, which have a specific room, which has negative air pressure, it doesn't have that. Certainly, they are supposed to be doing it away from the sleeping quarters, which I assume that they are. So it's just not well designed. The bigger, it's also, there's a comfort problem. When calls, the sleeping quarters are on the opposite side of the bay from the bathrooms. So when a call comes in, it's been referred to as hope for the best. I've been heard because get them out of bed at 3 a.m., they just have to jump on the truck. The clothes are right there, the turnout gear is right there, they put that on, they get on the truck. They don't go use the bathroom if they have a bathroom. So just a lot of design problems. It was a volunteer station. It was not designed to have sleeping quarters in it. So the whole thing needs to be rebuilt.
But like to your point, like here we have the whole living side of the building is
It's
here.
one place, yeah.
The rest of the building, there is not. The sleeping quarters are, but the day room where they hang out, the kitchen, my office, all that is still open to all the off gas and gear, the trucks driving through. Right. So I mean, it is in need of replacement at some point.
Sure. But no, we haven't taken any steps towards it. Really, I know Portage Township has been very committed to the idea of doing it. But we just want to see what these mergers look like, what these territories look like. Does it make sense to move Station 41?
It doesn't or does?
I think there's an argument to be made. There's an argument to be made that yes, it does make sense to move it. I think, you know, these guys are the experts, but. Yeah,
Just my opinion.
no, I'm with you, yeah, like, I had a nice spot that,
Again, I don't know, like,
a
they
nice little spot picked out for
know where.
it. Yeah. My retirement thing, I'm gonna buy that spot. On one of these guys for trustee and make you do it. But that's how it happens, man. It's just not the way.
Okay, any other questions?
But I'm gonna change the subject now, you know.
So that was the start county or Southland.
No, I said it was the South Lake way.
Okay, we'll move on to Article 10, other reports, union representative.
Mark Hansworth, Vice President of 4927. Nate is off today on personal time, our president. I'm doing tonight by our Secretary Treasurer here, McKee. We have nothing additional to report other than we have ongoing discussions, labor management meetings with the administration frequently. They're successful. We have a good working relationship with the administration. We did have a ratification vote on a wage proposal. There are a few tweaks to it, which we're working on, and we hope to have that to you guys to look at soon. We're meeting in the next couple of weeks on that as well. Appreciate all the support from the fire director board.
Thank you, Mark. I should have mentioned earlier in my report that we intended to be able to present the wage package for a vote of this board today at this meeting, but as he mentioned, there was just a few final tweaks. It has been ratified, but there's just a few language tweaks in it that are still being discussed, and we plan to bring it for a full vote in July. And from a timeline perspective, then we would start the budgeting process around July, August, which needs to be done in October, so it'd be well timed. Can you tell us what the vote total was?
Overwhelmingly in support of the wage package. I don't know if I'm gonna have liberty to give them vote totals, but it was overwhelmingly in support of it.
It was like 30 to 1. Pretty
You don't-
sure.
It's not shareable, it's not shareable.
Appreciate your hard work on that, and then we're gonna have to start again then, aren't we, right away? Because
This is a 3-year contract.
it's
If
three.
the board approves it,
We're good, yeah.
There's an article in our contract that does require us to meet annually, July,
That's what I'm thinking of.
June 1st,
Yeah.
to discuss wages.
Anything else?
It's, you know, it can be just a simple discussion point, but I mean, there's a requirement. You're correct.
Right. There's no money, it's going to equipment.
finance.
Just to piggyback on what Buddy said about your capital plan, it seems, other than getting more, you know, you're getting more input on different vendors, but that's a very similar model that the city has been successfully used. We replaced their equipment over decades. When I got on the fire department in the late 1980s, that was how they were using ambulance revenue to replace their aging fleet and to get it in a good shape with them today.
Would you mind finding out if there's a company that they use right now?
Okay,
Yeah, could you ask?
some manufacturers do lease purchase too, and I don't know if that's the case, but I'm not in that. I asked Chief Sport that question,
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks.
or city of Mishawaka too.
Sure.
Okay, is that it? Okay,
That's
the
it.
next up is other discussion items. First off, I want to thank Sandy for the hard work on this, putting that together. Appreciate it, yeah.
You've been there in the early thing.
Ironically, today too, I was at another meeting and came back, and it'll be interesting to see a financer had contacted our office and wants to come in and talk about everything that's going on financially related within the fire service with equipment and other things. That's about all I got.
There you go.
And after our discussion, I